Hi, I'm Emmanuel Xavier, and you're watching Out at the Center.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Take your time. Let's do it. Baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Anne Bannon's Beebo Brinker Chronicles are the basis for a new play of the same name previewing February 19th and opening March 5th at the 37 Arts Baryshnikov Arts Center. Anne and the producer stopped by the center to talk about the production, being a lesbian in the 50s, and the historical context of the original story.
Well, we want to do the whole lesbian canon, right? But where do you start? You start with Beebo Brinker.
I'll go down.
So Kate said Beebo Brinker, and I said, absolutely, that's it, let's do it.
Yeah, so I got to you through Jay.
Yeah.
And so, it's 6 degrees of lesbian separation, I think. So It was great, though. That's how we started.
When you have a character who's so beloved, or these characters are really beloved, is it sort of intimidating to think about, putting them up taking them from the one medium to the other, or?
I don't think we were intimidated. I think it makes it easy, actually. It makes it
yeah.
easier than if you're coming up with them for yourself. You know that they're already beloved. You know that people know who they are, so there's this recognition. I think what we tried to do was we tried to stay true to the characters that Anne had written. I don't think Anne was ahead of her time. Anne was dealing with interracial relationships, artificial insemination, bisexuality, incest, all these things in her books way before anybody has put it on logo.
Well, yeah. Well, and one of the things I think may be true of the books is that they, yes, they are period pieces in terms of the culture. What the kids then were wearing and how people were talking and the political repression of the time, all that kind of stuff, which is still unfortunately not entirely unfamiliar. But I think what remains true and a constant over the decades has been the human emotion that the characters go through. And I think that strikes a chord of recognition among even the very younger viewers. The actors are putting their hearts into this, and we have superb people. They have performed a leap of faith. All of them are much younger than the era that they're portraying, but they have somehow been able to develop the insight and the understanding of what these characters were going through. And it's a big leap because 50 years ago, there was a lot going on. People were terribly isolated, and we had no positive role models. And the entire medical and legal establishment was telling us that we were abnormal, and that all we needed was a good man to straighten us out, and all that stuff. And so there was an awful lot of dissembling, and there was an awful lot of worry. It was tough. It really was. You could be arrested for being homosexual. Just that's all it took. If you were caught in a gay bar or you were holding hands with a same-sex partner, into the paddy wagon. And in those days, they used to print the honor roll the next day. And there you would be for disgracing yourself in public, and they didn't mince words, really. So what if your spouse, if you had one, your mother, God forbid. It was way before the days of mom, guess what? But in spite of all that, we had some flaming romances. We laughed. I don't want people to get the impression it was all gloom and doom. You just had to keep looking over your shoulder. I guess you could think of it that way. I think one of the things that makes me the gladdest about having written these books, never quite understanding that they would resonate as they did with so many women, is that in fact they did, and they informed young women of that era that they were not the only one in the world. And some of them really thought that. One of the things I'm really hoping is that this brilliant adaptation from the written medium to the theater will bring in a lot more people who will take the same kind of joy that the books gave a lot of women in their first incarnation, and feel good about themselves and see themselves validated. It's an interesting play. It's a lot of fun, and they've put 5 years of work into getting this just right, which they did. So I was just thrilled. You can't ask for more than that. We have a stellar cast, brilliant playwrights, a wonderful director. It took half a century, but it was worth the wait.
That's all for this excerpt of Out at the Center. If you want to see the full show, check it out on the website at www.gaycenter.org/out. Until next time, I'm Emmanuel Xavier. Goodbye.